Hey, I'm so sorry about that. I don't know what happened with my computer, but it just froze. But without further ado, let's jump right back in. This is Tasemere, your host, with this segment of the Blackout Live from New York. Just to recap where we were and give a little bit background just in case you didn't see it before. But the Blackout Live from New York with me, your host, Tajmir's purpose is to celebrate Black folks across the diaspora and to have an open dialogue about Black economics, how we reimagine trends in business, and explore the magic that we have. We were talking about the impact of Bob Moses and his impact on SNCC and just in our lives in general. As a civil rights activist, he has now passed away. And I was just explaining, how grateful I am for the generations before me, for all the things that they have fought for and all the ways that they have put their Black bodies on the line in order for me and other folks to enjoy some of the freedoms that we have today. SNCC is definitely one of those places where Black folks, young Black folks, were really putting their bodies on the line and using their voices to speak up for themselves and to definitely deserve their time and their spaces and where they want it to be. And I am so grateful for that. We were then jumping into Simone in the Olympics. If you were here about 2 weeks ago, I did discuss just the power of the economics behind the Olympics. And, that was when we had our girl who was supposed to be running track. She was definitely disqualified from participating at the Olympics because she was found to have smoked marijuana. And so now we have Simone, who was at the Olympics and then definitely said, you know what, listen, this is a little bit too much for me right now. I think that I'm going to need to withdraw. And so this is an article that I read. You guys know, if you look on this, if you tune into this session, you know that I usually love to share my screen because I like to be open and honest about where I'm getting my resources from. So this is definitely an article that I looked up. And so I wanted to just, talk about how some folks are really upset with her and some folks are really encouraged by her strength to withdraw. So definitely would love to hear your opinions. Please comment so we can have a dialogue about this. I felt like her strength was amazing because I know that in life in general, we usually push ourselves to the max, right? We usually feel, and I'm going to talk about Black folks here, that we need to just suck it up and just keep it moving and keep it pushing. But sometimes we really need to know when we need to take a step back and not be afraid to say, like, I need some space and I need to, just take a step back and I'll get back to you later. I think that now with more Black athletes actually doing this in the limelight and saying, like, I'm at my bandwidth for whatever the reason is. Maybe it's their body is at its bandwidth, their spirituality, their emotions have been pushed to the max, that they're actually saying, like, hey, I need to take a step back and regroup and really figure out what is good for me and my space and myself, I think is amazing. I'm interested to see how many more athletes are definitely going to start stepping up and articulating when they need some time. But I'm also interested in seeing how will this impact their contracts, right? We all know that athletes and entertainers to some extent sign these contracts in order to be on these teams and have these platforms. And so are contracts going to start to be changed where if they need to take a step back, they won't be penalized for that? Interested in hearing you guys' opinion about that. Interested in hearing what you guys think about athletes really just saying that they need some space to just get their minds right. Do you think that Simone let America down? I know I heard that on some podcast, or maybe I read it somewhere, where people were saying that she's not American because she didn't just suck it up and just keep it moving and that she should have done that. Other folks are saying like, hey, she's human. She needed to take a step back, and I'm really proud of sis for doing that. So wanted to understand what you guys are thinking, how you guys are feeling about it. My thoughts are what I said. I feel like it is amazing and applaudable that she was able to say, I need to take a step back, and she actually did that. Super supportive of her brand endorsements for actually sticking by her, because we know that sometimes brands, drop you at a second. You have an endorsement deal here, and then one day you just don't have it anymore. So really, happy that her brands decided to stick by her as she's trying to sort things out in her personal life. And this leads me to Black women are taking over the footwear game. Did y'all know that? I didn't know that. I was like, when I read this article, I was like, oh my gosh, we like everywhere. Let me share this article with you here about how Black women are taking over the footwear industry. With the latest being your girl Carly B. Some people love her, some people not so much. But whatever you think, she is definitely one of these people that are taking over the footwear game, athletics, becoming creative, and our sneaker game. I'm really, really excited for this. This is an industry that has really been more male dominated. I myself am not an avid sneaker head, as people will call them, but I know a lot of people who are, and they live and die for their kicks, right? And so to see women being more comfortable and wearing more fashion forward colors, more bold colors, changing up the way that women interact with athletic wear, I think is dope. I'm interested to see what kind of new styles come out. You guys let me know what you guys think about it in the comments. Really interested to see how these brands take on the newfound urban wear, with Black women being at the helm of athletic footwear now. I'm interested to see how those sneakers look, because I know that usually, women's sneakers look a little ugly. That's why I usually don't choose to wear them. I usually go with the boy sizes because I can fit those, but I'm interested to see how this is going to change the game. Definitely interested to know like what their cut is, since this is all about economics and how we, generate our own economics. Definitely would love to explore what their contracts look like, like now that they're working with these major footwear brands. What is this going to look like for their bottom lines? Do they own the designs that they come up with? Do they co-own them with the actual platform or business that is allowing them to come in and work on different types of styles? So, and I want to know if they're going to be girly, or they're going to be more masculine, what's going to happen, how bold and how much are they willing to push the envelope when it comes to footwear. So just interested in understanding what that looks like. And then for us as the consumer, what does that look like for us? Are we going to go out and purchase these sneakers? Do we feel like they're going to be like the Yeezys that are like just ugly and really, really expensive, and we don't want to invest our money in that? Just super interested in understanding what is actually going on with the athletic wear, and how I can participate. Also, with these investments going on, I wonder if we as the consumer are going to be able to invest in these new lines of kicks. That would be super interesting. I know some sneakerheads that would love to be able to invest, buy some stocks, and maybe like, a specific line of footwear that is coming out that has a woman as the face of it. I'm super, super interested in knowing more about it. If you guys would like to explore the article, I will also put it up again so that way you're able to see it. I was really, really impressed about it. Here it is. Black women are taking over the footwear industry. These stars in sports, music, and fashion double as designers, trend leaders, and representatives for major brands. This is amazing. This is going to change the game all day, every day. I'm also a little upset with myself that that this article was out and these people were talking about this during Black History Month. I did not realize it until recently, as recent as this week. Where have I been? Definitely interested in learning more about that. And then I want to just roll right on over here into microaggressions. And so let me take a step back because this topic is one that we really need to dissect. I didn't really know the term microaggressions until one of my friends brought it up to me. And so microaggressions, the way that she explained it to me and the way that I have interpreted it, is when people make comments about you at work that is directly reflective of like how they see you in that space, but it's usually tied into your race. And so something would be like, oh my gosh, look at your hair, right? Or why does your hair look like that? That is a comment that most women and I think men get a lot of comments about their hair. And sometimes it's hard to understand if it is a compliment, if someone is just being interested in understanding what's going on with you, or if someone is just like really trying to check you at work, right? And so these microaggressions have been happening and more people have been exploring what microaggressions are and how they impact how we move around. And, you know, they're looking at it through the lens of Black women, but I would also venture to say that Black men also likely experience microaggressions at work. And so here is the article that I found, which I'm not surprised that now that we have been working from home because of COVID, that many Black women were relieved from these microaggressions that they experienced because they were working from home during COVID. And now that they have to go back into the office, they are really, really apprehensive around what the office space is going to look like. I'm not surprised, right? Totally not surprised. Also want to throw it out there that sometimes you think that microaggressions come from only white folks or folks that don't look like you. Microaggressions can also come from people that look exactly like you. So this is not just a one-directional thing. This can come in many different ways. And it really impacts how you start to feel about yourself, how you feel about going to work, how you interact with being creative and bringing your best self to work. For some people, it can make them come up as more aggressive and more as being the quote unquote bitch at work, right? Just gonna whisper that. For some people, they can become more introverted and more like, hey, I'm just gonna, come to work and put my head down and I'm not gonna say anything and I'm not gonna do anything because I really don't want to engage right now. So this whole thing about microaggressions, I think is rather new. As I said, I didn't really know that this was a word to use to describe what I knew I had experienced at work. But I'm glad people are starting to talk about it. And I'm also interested to see how are Black women that have to go back into the workforce, meaning that they have to show up at these people's jobs every day, how is this going to transition for them? Because being home during COVID, we have been able to reimagine our work life. Like, forget microaggressions. We have just been able to reimagine what working looks like. And for some people, that has been an uber enlightening experience. And for some people, they have also realized how important going into an office space that's not your home really allows them to separate home and work. So for some people, they need to be in an office, right? They do not want to work from home. They need to have this separation. If they have kids, they do not want to work with their kids at home, okay? Homeschooling and working for some people does not go together. They're like, listen, I need to be out of this house. And then for some people, it really did work. Maybe they were able to really understand what their kids needed help with in their schooling, and they were able to more so juggle what they needed to go on. So that's just like blanket across the stage. Like either it works for you or it doesn't work. But when you think about microaggressions and you think about when you show up at these people's jobs and you don't really want to be there to begin with, you're like, I didn't want to get up and come in here today. And then you have to deal with a microaggression. Maybe you would prefer to work from home. I read another article that I don't have up here to share, but LinkedIn is allowing their managers and their teams to decide if they ever want to come back into the office, right? They're allowing them to decide whether they want to do all the team members for this particular department or division are going to go back into the office, or if they're going to do a hybrid model where they come in some days, they take off some days, or if they're going to just say, listen, we do our best work from home. I think that this is one of the major impacts that COVID has had on the workforce, where people are able to reclaim their time. We're all busy. And when you think about going to work, you think about that's 8 hours, sometimes more of your whole day at another place, and you're not able to do some of the things that you would like to do. And maybe you're not a morning person. I have met a lot of people that are not morning people. They do not enjoy needing to be up at 6 to be to work at 8. They just do not work like that. Some people are actual night people, and they work better at nighttime, and they get most of their work done and their creativity happens when other people are sleeping. So maybe, COVID has just changed the game when we think about that. But as we think about the focus and the lens of microaggressions, I'm also interested to see how this all pans out for Black folks. I know the article was talking about Black women, but again, I think that Black men also face microaggressions at work. I would venture to say that that does happen. And so thinking about how we are going to reimagine how we engage with work is a major, major thing that I would love to see how that interacts and, breaks down with our own economic engines, and where do we go from here. Just another article that I found that is in the same light as this one, let me pull it up on my screen, about Amazon and their accelerator program for Black folks. I'm not sure if you knew this, but Amazon has created an accelerator program to help Black folks really gear up to be able to scale their businesses, right? And so this started off with like a coffee break at work between some colleagues that really became something else. And it blew up into this whole big phenomenon. And now there's 150 million pledge from Amazon and this Black incubator. Really excited about that. As someone that works with Black businesses as my full-time job, I'm also an entrepreneur, right? So this is my full-time thing that I do. I know that incubators and accelerator programs are not a cookie cutter. They do not work for every entrepreneur. But for some folks, it actually does help them think about how to scale their business. They're able to get networking. They're able to get investments. They're able to work in a sandbox and make meet new people and collaborate with new things. And for some folks, the accelerator program absolutely makes sense. Now, the challenge has always been that with anything else, Black people haven't always been able to have the same accessibility to incubators and accelerator programs. One of the reasons why is because you usually have to have the looming business plan. Most people do not have a business plan. Most Black entrepreneurs, and I would say most entrepreneurs in general, but we're going to stick with Black folks, work primarily off of passion, right? We are like, hey, I had this great idea. I do this. People love this. They like it. And I just was doing it at home in my spare time. Now, because you don't have the business plan, and that's usually one of the caveats in order to even apply to be part of a a business incubator or accelerator program, you are just not able to get in. Another thing that comes with it is also understanding those sales. And so sometimes we haven't been the best at keeping records of how many products we're moving, how many clients we have coming in. We don't really have a really good sales funnel where we can track it to be able to apply for this. So in order to really balance out the playing field for people to be able to get into big box retail, which when you talk to some entrepreneurs, they want to be in the Targets, they want to be in the Walmarts, they want to be in the Bloomingdale's, they want to be in the Whole Foods, right? You usually have to be in an incubator or accelerator program to really be able to move into those kind of spaces. And so this is amazing. Like it or love it from Amazon. Some people love them, some people hate them. I'm really indifferent about them. I feel like this accelerator program is dope, is amazing. If you are an entrepreneur that's looking to scale your business, you should definitely look at this as one of the resources that might be able to help you out. Like I said, accelerator programs do not work for any and everybody, but if you have the opportunity to do it, you definitely should consider it. So I want to just wrap up for today. I know we had some glitches that happened in today's segment, but just to do a little recap, this segment today was about Bob Moses' death from SNCC. I will upload this article for you to be able to look at in your own spare time. We'll go over this. So this was, Bob Moses and SNCC. If you are not familiar, you should definitely go do some research about SNCC and its impact and how it has informed and pushed the envelope for the civil rights of Black folks here in America. I'm only going to talk about America because this is what I know the most. But, across the diaspora, we have had many struggles and challenges with freedom. So that's a whole nother topic for another day. We then went in and explored Simone and her decision not to participate in the Olympics. And so this was really, I said that I felt like this was a really brave moment for Simone and reclaiming some of her time. There are some folks that feel like, is she American? Is she not? How could she, drop the ball and crack under pressure? I don't see it that way. We then went and explored Black women in footwear. They are taking over this footwear industry and they are unapologetic about it. So definitely we explored that and the economics behind that. We also talked about these microaggressions that have just come to the forefront. People have put a word to what some folks have been experiencing at work, and how COVID has really just changed the working environment in general and how we are going to now adapt to probably a more hybrid working experience. And then Amazon and their accelerator program. Super interesting things that we all need to think about. Hopefully this comes off of this platform and goes into your kitchen table or into however you guys do brunch. If you do brunch, how you talk about it, and just to continue to explore these topics and these conversations. I'm Tasemere, your host, with the Blackout live from New York. I look forward to connecting with you guys next week. Hopefully I won't have any glitches with my computer and I'll be able to stream completely, but if not, I will make it work. So this is Tasemere live from New York. Looking forward to checking in with you guys next week. Ciao.